My sister tried to take my inheritance by accusing me of manipulating our dying mother. Her reason? She has kids. I don't. That's it. That's the whole argument. Apparently, motherhood outranks daughterhood. And because I'm child-free, my stability doesn't matter. This is what happened. I've always been the easy one. That's what my mom used to say. Not in a bad way. Just a quiet way. Rachel was the loud one, the dramatic one, the emotional one, the one who needed extra attention. I was the independent one. If Rachel forgot her lunch, my mom would drive it to school. If I forgot mine, well, you'll survive. And I did. Rachel cried when she didn't get invited to parties. I stayed home and read. Rachel needed rides everywhere. I took the bus. Rachel wanted brand-name clothes. I wore hand-me-downs and didn't complain. I wasn't neglected, but I was self-sufficient. And somewhere along the way, that turned into, she'll be fine. When Rachel got married at 26 and had her first baby at 27, my mom transformed. She became grandma. And grandma was a different species. She babysat every weekend. She cooked dinners twice a week. She paid for preschool deposits. When Rachel and her husband wanted to upgrade their car, Mom co-signed. When their rent went up, Mom loaned them $25,000, which was never repaid. I didn't resent it at the time. I truly didn't, because I didn't need it. I had a steady job, no kids, no emergency. But here's the thing nobody talks about. When you're the independent one, people assume you don't need love in tangible ways. Mom's cancer came fast. Stage 4. No warning. I moved into her house during chemo. Rachel visited when she could, between school pickups and soccer practice. I drove to appointments. I sat in oncology waiting rooms. I learned how to manage medication schedules. Rachel once told me, "I don't know how you can handle all this." I said, "Someone has to." Mom never asked for praise, but sometimes at night she'd squeeze my hand and whisper, "Thank you for being steady." Steady. That word again. 3 weeks before she passed, Mom asked me to drive her somewhere. It was a small law office. She didn't tell me why until we parked. "I need to update my will." I felt sick. Inside, the lawyer explained everything carefully. The house would go to me. Rachel would receive a smaller cash inheritance. Savings accounts would be split evenly. Rachel had no idea. I said, "Are you sure?" Mom looked at me, thin and exhausted. "Yes." The lawyer asked her why, just to record clarity. She said, "Rachel has a husband and children. She will never be alone. My younger daughter builds her life quietly. I want her secure." I cried in that office. The lawyer made sure everything was airtight. Witnesses, documentation, video confirmation. There would be no confusion. Mom wanted certainty. Rachel was grieving loudly. I was grieving silently. Probate passed smoothly. No objections. No raised eyebrows. The house transferred to my name. Rachel even hugged me after. She said, "Mom always trusted you." It sounded kind, but looking back, it carried weight. It didn't start aggressively. It started like curiosity. "So, what are you going to do with the house?" "I'm moving in." "Oh, are you sure that's fair?" "The kids keep asking about Grandma's house. It just feels weird that they don't get to grow up there." That phrase, "grow up there," as if houses have destinies tied to children. At my aunt's birthday dinner, Rachel had clearly been crying. Halfway through dessert, she said, "I just think Mom assumed you'd share." The room froze. I said calmly, "She didn't." Her husband leaned forward. "Maybe she didn't expect you to keep it all." "Keep it all?" Like I robbed a vault. My aunt chimed in. "Well, Rachel does have 3 little ones. There it was. The motherhood shield. After that night, the messages started. Paragraphs, screenshots of rental listings, photos of cramped bedrooms, voice notes of Rachel crying. Do you know what stability means to kids? Do you know how selfish this looks? You don't even need the space. That one hit. Need. Who decides what someone needs? This was the moment everything snapped. Rachel showed up unannounced. With the kids, she walked them into bedrooms. This would be yours. She opened the backyard gate. You could have a swing set here. The kids were excited. They started planning. In my house. I asked her what she was doing. She said, "Trying to help you do the right thing." I said, "I'm not giving you the house." The kids started crying. Rachel looked at me like I'd slapped them. She posted, "Some people value property more than family." No names, but tagged childhood photos of us at that house. The comments were brutal. Family comes first. Kids deserve roots. As a mother, I'd never do this. I got DMs from cousins, from church members, from people I haven't spoken to in years. Suddenly, I was the villain. Last Sunday, I was invited to my uncle's house. They said it was just dinner. It wasn't. Rachel was there, her husband, my aunt, my uncle, 2 cousins. It was staged. My uncle started, "We're concerned." Concerned. Rachel cried immediately. She said, "You're tearing the family apart." Her husband said, "You're choosing walls over blood." My aunt said, "You don't even plan to have children. Why do you need a family home?" I asked. "Why does motherhood automatically outrank daughterhood?" Silence. Then Rachel said it. "Because children matter more than adults." There it was. Out loud. I said, "So my security matters less because I didn't reproduce?" She said, "Yes." No hesitation. 3 days later, she came alone. "If you don't give us the house, I'm contesting the will." I laughed. It was airtight. She said, "You manipulated Mom. That broke me. I cared for our dying mother. And now, I was accused of manipulation." I told her to call a lawyer. She left, shaking. Rachel never told the family. Mom loaned her $25,000. Mom co-signed their car. Mom paid for 2 vacations. Mom covered daycare deposits. Rachel has received more financial help than I ever have. But because it wasn't in the will, it doesn't count. Sometimes at night, I walk through the house. It's quiet. 3 bedrooms, just me. Sometimes I feel the guilt creeping in. But then I remember sitting in that oncology chair, holding Mom's hand. Rachel wasn't there most of those days. Not because she's evil, because she was busy. But I was there, and Mom saw that. This was never about space. It was about symbolism. Rachel believes the house represents legacy, and legacy means children. Since I'm not continuing the bloodline, she sees me as wasting it. She once said, "It should stay with the family." As if I'm not family. As if child-free equals temporary. And this is where everything changed. But before we go further, tell me in the comments, who's wrong so far? Then, if you enjoy stories that test your moral compass like this, hit subscribe, because it gets worse. Yesterday she called. She said, "If you don't give it to us, don't expect us at holidays." I said, "If you only show up for property, don't." Silence. Then she said, "You'll regret this when you're alone." I replied, "I'd rather be alone than resentful." And that was the end of the call. The situation isn't over. My sister just did something I never thought she'd actually do. If you think this is messy now, Wait until you hear what happened next. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss part 2 of the story. At the moment, I ask you directly, am I selfish? Should I sacrifice my stability because she has children? Does motherhood automatically outrank independence? Or is this entitlement wrapped in diapers? AITA.